Tomorrow morning is a very big day for the Range Rover. I've got all my paperwork here. It's time to see if it's going to pass its written off vehicle inspection. This is my 2016 flood damaged Range Rover Sport. Pretty much every Range Rover with a sunroof has an issue where the rain drains, rust, and then let water inside the car. We've spent about a month and a half stripping the entire interior back to basics, drying everything out, and replacing a bunch of broken parts, as well as fixing the root cause of the problem. Now the car is running and driving and ready to go for the big inspection. If we pass this, we can get it back on the road. If not, we're selling it for scrap. The written off vehicle inspection is a little bit different to the US or the UK. In Australia, it is much harder to get this thing re-registered than it is over there. Now, there's two main reasons why I'm worried. First one is you never really know if that's going to be enough. They might see something that you haven't seen. Second thing I'm worried about is what's written on the PPSR report. The PPSR report is something that's generated after this car's been assessed and then deemed a repairable write-off. Now, on this one just here, you can see everything listed and it says front right, front left, sides of the vehicle. This essentially says that it was an outside freshwater flood. We've seen firsthand that the sunroof rain drains up here were broken, snapped off, and that is how the water's gotten inside the car. The thing that worries me about this is there is a dedicated number for an interior flood, just like in this PPSR here. Sometimes these assessors don't write the right things on the reports. When I go and hand in all my paperwork and say that I've essentially addressed water ingress on the interior, they might look at the PPSR report and say, no, this is an exterior flood. And the day before these checks, you're always pretty paranoid, because if it doesn't pass, honestly, I don't know what I'm up for. Range Rovers are expensive, the parts are expensive, which kind of brings me to my next point. If you saw in my last video, I actually put this up for sale. I was hoping that somebody was going to buy this for cheaper before it's written off vehicle inspection, because I was just getting so worried and stressed out about it. And it did actually pan out. Here you can see me filming a video talking about selling the car before taking it to its written off vehicle inspection. I have officially just sold my 2016 Range Rover Sport. It was here for a couple of hours, and after negotiating back and forth, I ended up selling the car. I listed it for $20,000 with its history disclosed and still needing the check, and was inundated with messages in the morning. After negotiating a deal, he put $1,700 down as a deposit, and then the next day cancelled the deal. I gave him $700 back because I didn't need it all. Very annoying, because it means we still have to take it to this check today. I am well over $10,000 into this car, which makes it a little bit difficult for me to digest. Actually, that's a big number for me. The problem comes if it doesn't pass. I've only got a few $1,000s left in my checking account for the cars, and if it doesn't pass, we're going to struggle to sell this thing for what we got into it. And this is the big stressor for me. If it doesn't pass, how much more am I going to have to spend on it? Am I going to lose thousands of dollars on the car for it to maybe not even pass the check? So I kind of just wanted to say that whenever you watch somebody doing stuff like this, and they are very obviously a small creator, this car represents a significant portion of all of my money. And tonight and tomorrow morning is a very, very stressful time for me. Because, yeah, it's sort of make it or break it. It just means make it or break it. I believe it'll pass, but you're never truly sure. All I can do now is cross my fingers and hope, really. I'll see you in the morning. As stressful as all this is, it's really important to remember that I'm chasing a dream here, rebuilding cars until we get a supercar, and it's just the most important thing in the world to me. I've set aside the money to try and build the wealth, and as scary as it is, if we manage to flip this Range Rover, we're going to be a hell of a lot closer to attaining that goal. This is the longest drive this car has done since I've had it, and I don't really know what's going to happen. It's going to take me 30 minutes to get there and 30 minutes to get back. Please, 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 everything will work out. Please. Like I said, I haven't driven this car at this sort of distance before, so I had no idea what was actually going to happen. I'm so stressed out, I'm driving this entire way in complete silence. But as we arrived, I pulled into the parking lot just to take note of the car. So here it is. This hopefully is the last time I have to do this, just the one and done type of thing. The car actually looks really nice. It's the HSE dynamic version, which I believe means all these black accents, black rims, black trim, black around the door sills and everything, the door trims, whatever they're called, the nice SVR style tail lights. I've always liked the way these things looked, but look, I've still got another like 50 minutes. You want to be early for this because last time we came, we were 10 minutes late and they knocked us back and we had to rebook and we lost $100 and had to wait another few weeks to do it, which was really frustrating. I'm gonna go find a coffee, take a beat, and get ready. We're almost there. And this is the big moment. Whether or not it's actually gonna pass. Approved. Oh, I'm too tired to even celebrate. I need a shower and some lunch. This car is now registerable on the road. We will be talking about like what it costs, obviously, because this wasn't cheap. This was actually a rather expensive one for me. Admittedly, it is a little bit difficult for me to be excited because I just feel drained. So I had been trying to sell this car, having not passed the check, but it's not as valuable to people that way. Now that it's passed the check, that means this car is now road registerable, and hopefully it'll sell for a bit more. Might actually make some money on this, because at the moment selling it, you know, not having passed that check, it looked like we were gonna either take a bit of a loss or break even, if anything. Okay, it's not actually a day later, it's about a week later, but as you can see, the Range Rover is no longer sitting here. We've got nothing in the garage at the moment, and that is because I've managed to sell it. And it's time to talk about what it cost me and what we made, because we did make a bit. But just quickly, I did just want to say, if for whatever reason you've got a crash car at home and you're in Queensland ideally, and you think about selling it, please send an email to the email linked in the video description. I am actively looking to buy one. As soon as the Range Rover sold, I started looking for the next one, and I had my heart set on this, a turbo 6-cylinder BMW 135i with a manual transmission. I've had an N54 engine, the predecessor to this engine, and I absolutely loved it. I was a bit concerned about what looked like extinguisher dust, but in the end I wasn't really sure it was. I couldn't see any burnt plastics around the engine bay. I thought I'd be able to bid up to 7.5 plus fees, but in the end this car sold for way more than I thought it was going to. With fees, it sold for $14,300, and it still needed fixing. They're worth about 17 to 20. Now I did actually sell this car for a little bit less, but there's a bit of strategy there. One of the biggest problems I had with the Range Rover was waiting for parts, not being able to buy another project. I actually sold this car the very next day after that check, and I sold it for a little bit less to get rid of it then, so I'd have all the money to buy cheaper projects and hopefully buy a few of them. And I already do have one. And believe it or not, I bought it before the Range Rover. Selling this car has actually increased our progress bar on the Supercar project. The total that I paid for the car was $12,749. And the total I spent additionally with tools, parts, and all the checks to get this thing past its written off vehicle inspection was $4,552.73, bringing the grand total to $17,302 spent on the car. Now we do originally have the deposit money from when I had sold the car before it actually went to its written off vehicle inspection. So I did part refund a lot of that money, but we kept $1,000 of it. And that brings our costs into the car down to $16,302. The total sale price for this car was 18,000 Australian dollars, meaning we profited $1,698. So how close to a supercar are we at this point in time? Well, seems like you can get an early model Audi R8 in Australia for just under $100,000. So that is the goal that we're setting. You could also buy a Nissan GTR, which is kind of a supercar, kind of not. So with $100,000 as the grand prize, we currently have $21,644. That is 21.6% the way to a supercar, which is almost a quarter of the way there, which is kind of insane when you think about it that way. Wow. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully we've got something soon because we're gonna need it. We've got nothing now. Subscribe, like the video, head over to Instagram, follow me there, and I'll see you in the next one.